Al-Shifa was under siege again last week. I mean, just last week, the week before, seven. Again, I repeat, and that's not to make light of their death, of course. You know, it's one of the things that I've always wanted to do personally is to be a humanitarian worker, even if it's for 3 months or 6 months. One of the things that I've always wanted to do. So I'm not making light of it, but seven
Yeah.
humanitarian workers are killed by Israel deliberately, as the world has since identified. Al-Shifa was under siege for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the world wasn't outraged. It was hardly reported. Some 300 or so people were killed. People could not identify their loved ones. They had to identify them through the clothes. The journalist on ground literally said, "We can't show you what we're seeing."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the scenes from Al-Shifa are absolutely apocalyptic, and it's not just the compound, which is the largest health compound in Palestine, by the way, not just in Gaza. It represented 30% of the health sector in Gaza before this war, and it has been completely, utterly reduced to charred rubble. But the whole area around it, the neighborhoods, the homes, they were pummeled. People had their homes burned while they were inside. And if they were lucky to escape the fire, they were fired upon or crushed by Israeli tanks. I've seen pictures, God knows, I would love to unsee from that siege. And the truth is, I don't think we will ever know the full scope of the horror people lived for over 2 weeks. The hunger, the torture, the taunting, the fact that people have found bodies who had still their hands and legs tied, executed. They were helpless. The doctors who were killed, there was one doctor, Ahmed Maqadma, whose mother is also a physician. They were both executed, and their only crime was the fact that they wanted to stay on and help the helpless, help the injured who could not leave Al-Shifa. They couldn't walk out of there. There was nobody to wheel them out of the hospital, and there was nowhere for them to go. And those two doctors paid for that selflessness with their lives. So I think it will take us months, if not more, before we know the full scope of the depravity of the crimes and horrors that took place there. And as you said, yeah, it barely made headlines because it was easier to parrot the Israeli line, to treat it as credible, even though the Israeli army has lied multiple times about Al-Shifa Hospital and other hospitals to excuse carrying out such atrocities, and to dismiss all those civilian deaths as people who died tragically. No mention of who killed them, no mention of who starved them.